You can already get an item for Assassin's Creed Shadows that will then appear in your inventory for when the game launches. Go to assassinscreedshadows.com/hourglass and fill in this code that I will also put in the description so you can copy it. If you're then logged in with your Ubisoft Connect account, the Hourglass trinket is yours, so this basically confirmed what I predicted, that the talisman slot from Mirage is now also a thing in Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it does seem like it won't be something we always put on our back. I got a ton of new info in this video, so if you are curious or hyped about Assassin's Creed Shadows, drop a like, that would really help me out, and let's go. Let's start with more info on how the dual protagonist system works, because we learned quite some interesting and important details. Unlike Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Ubisoft namely notes that most main quests can be completed as either Yasuke or Naue, allowing for freedom of approach. However, both characters also have their own specific missions playable only by them, as well as bespoke introduction quests. I saw this question a lot, but yeah, it really seems that if you just want to play as one character or the other, it is possible after completing the introduction for both characters. And there will of course be some personal missions where it does not make sense for the other character to be involved, but in most of the content you are free to choose. In the pre-order mission, Thrown to the Docks, where we have to help a loyal dog avenge his late master, we only see Naue in the image, but because this is a side quest, it means we can also do it with Yasuke. Really hope that both characters have different dialogue during these missions that fit their personality more, instead of what we saw for Eivor and Alexios and Cassandra, of course, where they all said the same thing. Or maybe both characters will always appear during missions, so it's always the same scene. I will totally ask a developer when I get the chance. But yeah, even during a mission that has several steps, for example, you first have to take out some enemies and then infiltrate a base to steal something, you can be like, oh, I now want to do that with Naue, and then immediately switch. We will only not be able to switch inside combat or a restricted area from the sounds of it. And they have a bit of a GTA system for this, by the way, as well. So again, Ubisoft notes that you can switch between both characters as you please, but these characters do have a life when they are not played. So when you switch back characters, you can see them do something different. Again, this really reminds me of Grand Theft Auto 5, but of course Spider-Man 2 had something like this as well. Now, not sure if this means that you can encounter Yasuke when playing Naue, for example, so that one of the characters is controlled by the AI, similar to running into Miles during a crime in Spider-Man 2, so you could beat up the bad guys together. To me, it sounds like it will just be a small introduction cutscene when switching, that we would actually also see in Watch Dogs Legion, and that was totally one of the coolest things they did in that game, especially when Wrench and Aiden got introduced. So we should expect scenes like this when switching between characters in Shadows as well. Now, even though Naue is the way more capable assassin, Yasuke can still use stealth, like hide in a bush and crouch, but he will be noisier and not as fast as Naue. And he of course also does not have access to the grapple hook to climb walls and way more easily reach rooftops. So he should still be able to do some parkour, although also here Naue will be the one with extra moves. Like, I really expect Naue to be closer to an Arno from Unity, while Yasuke likely has similar parkour options to say Eivor. But the flip side is that the moment Naue is spotted, things can go sideways. So Ubisoft notes that Naue can fight and hold her own against a few enemies, but she's not a brawler like Yasuke that can take on a horde of targets. This is also thanks to her light armor, of course, like causing her to die faster. I really think that it will be close to how Basim felt in Assassin's Creed Mirage, only Ubisoft notes that Naue is able to engage in combat, but she's unable to block or parry. Instead, she can deflect enemy blows. They weren't very specific about what deflect means, but it could have to do with her ability to kick an enemy's weapon to also interrupt another target, which could still be pretty powerful. But yeah, Basim and the other assassins were of course really focused on the parries and countering, and that seems to be something that Naue cannot do. But still, my prediction is that if you get good at the game, you can probably easily succeed in combat with Naue. For one, because tools like the smoke bombs were in Mirage just as deadly for combat as they were useful in stealth. And also because the Kusarigama weapon that she has Sounds pretty strong. IGN saw some gameplay and described how she was fending off a group of attackers using a kusarigama, swinging its chain in wide arcs to enforce space between her and her foes. Reminds me again of how it was used in Neo. So I think that just like in Mirage, you can probably become a combat powerhouse with Naue, while it does feel like doing stealth with Yasuke will be pretty annoying because of some handicaps. Now, one thing that will be more interesting with the samurai is going to be gear. You probably already saw the Sekiryu character pack that is part of the Ultimate Edition. Well, it confirms many things but also raises some questions. And I'm by the way doing a giveaway for the game with the Ultimate Edition. If you want to participate, link in the pinned comment, and you have to be a subscriber of the channel before you enter. Like for one, it's no surprise that character packs are back, and as a fan of Red, I kinda dig this set quite a lot. They are taking learnings from Valhalla that we also saw applied to Mirage, and that is that they immediately start with a bang. Because there is immediately a special mount that is not a horse part of this pack, the Sekiryu Beast. Like by the end of the life cycle, we had a ton of different mounts we could ride in Valhalla, so I totally expect that to be the case for Shadows as well. With hopefully, of course, a way to get them for free through a Reda Sargon-like system. Fingers crossed that that's in the game. One of the first questions I will ask when I get the chance to interview the developers. Again, we see the Dragon Tooth Trinket, probably cosmetic only, so without any stats, just like in Mirage. But we see Naue actually wear it on her waist, so again, it won't always be on the back of our character. While we do, if we look at this armor from Yasuke, see a spot for the trinket on the back from the looks of it. But yeah, both characters have a different version of the armor, as it sadly seems that even when you try to do stealth with Yasuke, you will not be able to wear a hood. I hope that changes later on in the game. But yeah, I'm curious if both armor sets will have different perks for each character. It would on one end be very logical because of how different the playstyles for each character are, but even in Mirage, the stealth-focused game, all the item packs were focused on combat benefits, like Ubisoft was unable to find fun new stealth perks apart from the perk for the Fire Demon set that would burn a target after assassinating them. So then the other enemies would not see the body. Hope I'm wrong, but I fear that item packs will just not be as interesting for Naue if you are focused a lot on stealth. Also the glowing katana, like you will only use it when in combat, while again you should avoid that as much as possible with Naue, at least according to the developers. While with Yasuke, I'm sure it will be very fun to toy around with special weapons and their perks. Now luckily there's Transmog already from the start, so even if Naue for example has better stealth perks on other gear, you can just wear that. Or if you like the look of one samurai armor more, even though it's really bad in terms of stats, they can just look the way you want without having it impact your power. Which is great news that Transmog is available from launch, because that was not the case in Odyssey and Valhalla. Still many questions about how this all is going to work. I might do a more like in-depth nerdy video on JorRaptor for if you are curious about that. Of course, share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for way more Assassin's Creed Shadows videos if you haven't already. A like would really help me out. And check out my previous video on new details that got me more excited. Like some pretty cool systems are going to be in this game. I will see you in that video or in the next one. Goodbye.